Hello, Dave here with RadiationHealthRisks.com. I appreciate you stopping by. In today's video, we have a very important topic. I want to talk about the new 5G cell phones that are out, and more importantly, I want to talk about a new scientifically proven way to protect yourself from their harmful 5G radiation. So let's get right into it. Okay, for this type of protection product that I'm going to show you, there's lots of different companies that produce products like this. And to be honest, I've always kind of just thought of them as snake oil, and I've kind of poo-pooed them and just didn't want anything to do with them until I ran across these two that I'm going to show you. And the reason that I took a second look at them is because these are the only two companies that have actual peer-reviewed independent scientific studies that I can read, that they provide. You can actually read the studies. They're done by reputable labs, and they're, like I said, they're peer-reviewed. And when I read them, they make logical sense. And because of that, they're the only two companies that I trust. All of the other companies, you don't know what they're putting in their products. So let's talk briefly about this. If you go to my website, like you can see here, in the main menu of my website, you'll see a featured tab. If you hover over that, the first option is scientific studies. That will take you to the scientific studies page of my website. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see I've listed this information with these links to the actual scientific studies for both Aulterra Global and EMF Harmony products. And there's also videos where they do actual blood tests and stuff that you can watch. And basically, let me tell you the story about Aulterra. I'm impressed with both of them, but Aulterra is obviously my favorite. Just it's the one I've been aware of the longest. But both of them, the studies are really, really good, and the findings are very, very similar. But how Aulterra Global got started is the owner of Aulterra. He was he was part of a project to do some nuclear waste site cleanups, and as part of that cleanup, they had minerals that they put in the ground that were supposed to neutralize the leftover effects after the cleanup of the radioactive material that had been in that website. I mean, in that cleanup site. And he was so impressed with how well that stuff worked, and the fact that it, was so effective against nuclear radiation, that he hired a reputable lab and paid them to do some studies to find out if, and then also to have the studies peer reviewed to find out if these minerals would have the same effect on EMF radiation. And so these are the different studies that he's done. Now, if you see down here at the bottom, there's a video. It shows a bunch of blood cells on that screen. Probably that video was the number one. I mean, I read all of the studies, and they were all logical, and they all made sense, and I was pretty convinced. But probably the most powerful thing was when I watched that video, because 15 years ago or so, I was having some weird health problems, and I was sent to a whole bunch of different specialists, and nobody could figure out what was going on or what was wrong with me. And then one doctor did this simple blood test, exactly like it's shown in this video. And in 2 seconds, they knew exactly what was wrong with me and solved my problem. So that particular type of test just carries a lot of credibility in my mind. And so that watching that video was probably that was what really convinced me to then go back and read the rest of the studies in more detail and make sure that I totally understood them and everything. And so a year or two later, after running into Aulterra, I've had lots of people send me, again, lots of other companies. None of them had any science. Finally, I had somebody send me information on EMF harmony, and they actually had scientific studies again. I was super excited. And so I actually, and one of their studies they didn't even pay for. It was a completely independently done study. And so, the studies, they did similar blood tests like is shown in the Aulterra video that I was so excited about, and they have similar results. And basically what these products do in a nutshell is, at least this is the way Aulterra puts it, is they change the EMF radiation coming out of whatever electronic device is there. They change it from the man-made radio frequency or electric field, magnetic field, man-made electromagnetic radiation into it's still electromagnetic radiation, still functions as the devices want it to, but it changes the radiation into a more natural form that's less harmful to the body. And that blood test shows how it protects your body really, really well. So I recommend you going to the scientific studies page on my website. I'll put links to that page below this video, and I'll also put links to the two websites for these two companies also, where you can go check them out as well if you want to. So these are the types of products that they have. Starting from the left, the Aulterra Neutralizer here. These are just stickers, basically, that have those minerals in it that you stick on your phone. And then down in the bottom left-hand corner is a pendant that has those minerals in it that you can wear on your body, kind of like this lady in this image here is wearing the EMF Harmony pendant. She's using her cell phone, but that EMF Harmony pendant and the Aulterra pendant would do the same thing. It puts they call it a paramagnetic field around her, and the radiation coming from that cell phone is changed into a more natural form that's less harmful. Over here on the right side, this is EMF Harmony. That's their sticker that goes on the cell phone, just like these Aulterra stickers over here go on the cell phone. And then down here is their pendant that you also see shown here. So what I recommend that you do is first go to the scientific studies page on my website, click on all those links, read those studies. It's a little bit scientific jargony. That's not a word, but you get what I'm saying. It's not difficult to understand. And you can read through it, and it makes common sense. And then you decide which of these two companies you trust more. Again, these are the only two that have enough scientific data that I trust, that I would even recommend. I've turned so many companies away, but these ones I feel, because of the science, I feel confident enough about them to recommend them to you guys. But you guys go do your own research, read the studies, and decide which one you feel the most confident about.
Okay, I want to tell you a quick personal experience that I had with these Aulterra products. They make a little pillow. They're about that big. I'll put a picture there. And in that pillow, it's just full of those minerals that's in it. And anyway, when I got one of those, I thought, oh, cool. And I just threw it in we have a king-size bed. I just threw it in the middle of all the pillows and didn't really think of it. And anyway, I started having a really hard time going to sleep. And I never have insomnia. But a couple of weeks went by, and if I did get to sleep, I wasn't restful, and I just had insomnia. I was having a hard time going to sleep. And I was asking my wife one day, I don't understand, why am I never have problem going to sleep. Why am I having trouble going to sleep? And then it occurred to me that started about the time I threw that pillow on there. So I went and got that pillow, and I put it at the far end of the house, didn't want it to affect my sleep. And since then, I slept like a baby. And in my mind, that really convinced me. There really is a paramagnetic field that comes out, and that particular pillow just had a ton of the minerals in it, enough so that it was disrupting my sleep. I do have the stickers on all of my electronic devices, like my Wi-Fi router, my smart meter, my cell phone, you know, everything in the house, and then that emits any kind of radiation. And then the other thing that I do is I have this whole house plug here that Aulterra makes that neutralizes all of the dirty electricity on the wiring of the house, as well as any RF radiation coming from anything that's plugged into the wiring of your house that emits RF radiation. Aulterra recommends that you put stickers on the individual devices and have a whole house plug attacking it from both ends to neutralize the RF radiation. And then when I travel, I have the one for the car that does the same thing to the wiring of the car and any Bluetooth that I'm exposed to, or any radiation RF radiation while I'm driving. So I think this, especially with 5G, since these are more dangerous frequencies, I think it's super important that we attack it from all ends. We block it as much as we can with these metallic mesh screen type devices, but I think it's super important that we neutralize it too, because we're going to be exposed from places that we go, our neighbors' houses. There's just going to be a lot more exposure as these 5Gs come out to more dangerous frequencies. And if you have a pendant on you, you have it on all your devices, it's just gonna help protect you a lot. So anyway, I hope that all made sense. I hope you got some value out of this. I really appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you in the next video.